Employing blockchain technology to combat climate change. Moderated by Igor Gordeev, BitRiver. With Christian Glebo, Beyond, Daniel Garcia, Nosama, Vilma Matila, Fivewire, Jorge Sebastian, Simba Storage, and Igor Runets, BitRiver.
Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to moderate this session because we have, I think, a very interesting topic on our hand, which covers the problem of combating climate change right now and how blockchain technology can be engaged in fighting this problem, actually. There is lots of dispute around this topic nowadays, how actually the modern technology can be engaged into tackling climate change, into tackling global warming and other things. And of course, when we think about technology, we think about blockchain. When we think about blockchain, we think about cryptocurrency. Now, the environmentalists think that, like mining cryptocurrency puts lots of strain on energy system, consuming too much electric power. And since, renewable sources contribute less than other sources to electric power, they think that it would lead to carbon emission, which would be aggravated from day to day. Now, in this respect, we will try to look at this problem from different angle. We have prominent guests, but we are very much limited in time, so I would be very strict about it. Everybody has about 3 minutes to make their speech, and without further ado, I won't introduce anyone because it would consume too much time, so I suggest that you will do the small introduction and go ahead with your topic. And we go one by one, so please, let's start.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is George Sebastian. It's a pleasure to be here with esteemed guests and audience as well. We're here for you. Primarily, I think there's two elements about the blockchain that are extremely important. One, you can say it's the negative aspects about the blockchain, so let's talk about the negative ones first. We all know that technology is being used initially in blockchain 1.0, also known as proof of work, is primarily consuming a lot of energy, and you can say this is in itself a negative point. But it can be counteracted by, for example, using renewable energies such as thermoelectric, hydropower, nuclear energy, and others. But this only goes so far. So we have ways to counteract that. We have today over 100 consensus mechanisms that are much more efficient than proof of work. That's on pure the technology point of view. The second aspect, which I think is the much more important one, is how we use blockchain as a use case to actually bring value to elements that are contributing to sustainability. I'll just pick two examples. The first one is the usage of blockchain for carbon credits. Many of you have probably heard about it, but carbon credits is a new economy in which companies that are polluting have the capability of purchasing these credits from companies that actually remove carbon much more efficiently than them through those credits. What we're doing is creating marketplaces for those carbon credits And what this is doing is accelerating basically the decarbonization of the planet. So you look at it as a pure acceleration mechanism by taking money from the people that pollute and giving money to the people that actually remove pollution, creating a more efficient element. The second element of a use case that I think is very important is one that we have contributed quite vivid to, is a project called Foster, in which we're planting 1 billion trees, and it's driven by a blockchain investment fund. We have already run a pilot project in Colombia. Anybody here from Colombia? Oh boy, one. So we have done already you can say the MVP or the proof of concept, and now we're in the process of actually escalating and doing the elasticity of this solution. We have hundreds of other cases, but in the essence of time, I invite us to have coffee after this to discuss it in more detail. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, George. Okay, round of applause, please. Thank you. Now to our next speaker.
Hello, everybody. I'm Daniel. I'm co-founder and CTO of Nosama. We have been building sustainable projects since 2019, and we have recently launched Plastics, which is an NFT marketplace for compensate plastic production. So we are using blockchain, and I think that blockchain can help fighting climate change, because when we are measuring our actions, we have to save these actions somewhere. And when we save our information in the blockchain, we are saving it in a place where information cannot be changed. Then we get trust. And also, because it's available to everybody, we are getting transparency as well. They are two really powerful tools. Then, we are having a really massive problem here. Everybody wants to save the world, but nobody wants to pay for it. So in our case, we have built a model when we are incentivizing plastic recycling management companies to be more transparent. By being more transparent, we can know how much plastic has been recovered from the environment. And when plastic gets recovered from the environment, we know that it's not producing that much contamination. It's also affecting CO2 really, really negatively. So in that way, blockchain is helping us saving data in a trustworthy way, so people get the trust. It's really transparent, everybody has access, and it's a really cool technology to just make everybody aware that things are happening, that you can measure your sustainability, your actions, and everybody can go there and verify what you are doing and that you are helping the environment.
Thank you, Daniel. So put your hands together to Daniel, please. All right. Now to our next speaker.
Hello everyone, I'm Vilma Mattila and I'm representing FIRE. So I have been in the crypto space for the past 8 years and invested in a few ventures that many of us know here, such as Tron and Quantum and Hedera Hashgraph. And we recognize that there are two fundamental problems in the industry. First of all, accessibility. Secondly, sustainability. And we decided to touch on the sustainability both from the side of the retail customer as well as from the side of the enterprise customer. So enterprise clients have this big challenge of they don't know how to analyze how much carbon footprint they are causing. They don't know how to solve a problem they cannot measure. So the most common question that we have is, how do I measure impact? How do I know that I'm solving the problem, that I'm causing carbon footprint, and how can this be traced through blockchain? So what we are implementing in many blockchains right now is we integrate API frameworks of source live data of 650 sources to track with an index which is aligned to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, to understand how is the crypto industry right now valued. For example, if we compare it to the other enterprises, how is the carbon footprint that we cause, how is it reducing? So as many of you might know, for example, Ripple has a carbon calculator, Bitcoin has a carbon calculator, But what we do is I'm interested normally in providing value to the crypto ecosystem by understanding, are these measures human-made? Is this algorithm biased? How can we know if this data is biased? And how can we understand how much we are negatively affecting the environment? So I would also like to mention that overall in the crypto industry, the understanding of prevention of problems has been increasing in the past few years. But what we mostly advocate is for technologies that prevent the problems, not just solve them. If we put taxation on negatively impacting carbon emissions, that won't solve the problem of all the hardware mining we are doing around the world. It needs to come from the preventive perspective, and that's why we have today and in the whole expo amazing companies that are solving sustainability challenges at the core. Even at the consensus level, where, for example, we do understand that the consensus of proof of work is based on who uses more energy, and that shouldn't be the assumption of everyone following that paradigm in our space. So we encourage and aim and support for businesses for reward for doing good for the environment, as well as taking consideration how much they measure their impact, how much they contribute to the society, and how much we can reduce the carbon emissions that we are currently causing as an industry. Because first we need to, of course, analyze to understand, we need to prevent instead of just fixing, and we need to understand and metrically see how much we are contributing, respect other industries. Then we can solve a problem when it's measured and detailed. And I encourage everyone here to acknowledging that we have a problem and taking steps forward to it. Thank you.
Okay, Vilma, thank you so much. All right, now to our next speaker.
Hello, everyone. My name is Igor. I am a founder and CEO of BitRiver. And topic I want to speak today is proof of work and sustainability. It's a very controversial topic, and a lot of criticism of cryptocurrencies, blockchain was focused on proof of work. So I will start my speech with a simple number. According to Bitcoin Mining Council, in last quarter of 2021, the percentage of sustainable power in proof of work algorithm was around 60%, which is significantly higher than a proportion of sustainable energy in the energy grid power generation mix. This is a very interesting fact. Is mainly the main reason for that is that investors nowadays are extremely focused on the source of generation of bitcoins, other cryptocurrencies. More and more institutional investors are coming to the space. All of them publish statements, reports, and source of energy is becoming the biggest topic. And sustainability ESG agenda overall is a very important topic on those statements, on those reports. And they mainly focused on acquiring the crypto assets, so mining in data centers running by sustainable power. This kind of motivation for data centers to consume power from sustainable sources. And as a result of that, if you think mining is an export of energy without wires, you see that the generation getting increasingly more motivated by investors to apply sustainable technologies to generate power to the energy grid. We see that hydro generation, solar generation, wind generation is getting increasingly more motivated by miners, by Bitcoin miners, by other cryptocurrency miners to supply energy, sustainable energy to the energy grid. Good examples of that are regions like Texas in the United States, where like excess power and demand response was main drivers for creation of mining industry in that region, and additional revenue stream to the power generation in that region. Another example is Scandinavia, where hydro generation was highly motivated by additional supply to provide more generation, more power to the grid. Another example is Siberia, also same reason. Consumers coming to that region only because of sustainable mix of energy. And observing that, more and more traditional energy investors are switching their plans from coal-fired, from gas-fired power plants to more sustainable mix. So, as a result of that, power mix for generation, for proof of work is getting greener and greener. According to the same number, to the same source, Bitcoin Mining Council, the mix of power for cryptocurrency mining get 9% greener just in 3 months. It's a difference between Q3 and Q4 last year, which is very significant increase in proportion of renewable energy in the energy mix. And pressure of investors is getting higher and higher for the industry. As a result of that pressure, for example, we as a data center operator in 2021 had to get the certification of using zero carbon emission power for running our data centers. We paid some extra for getting that source of energy, but we were driven by the investors, by the customers to get certification of being a zero carbon emission company in 2021, which is also demonstrates the significant demand for renewable power for the whole proof of work consensus mechanism. I believe if that trend continues in 3 to 4 years, proof of work will run predominantly on renewable power. So this is a very illustrative example how the ESG agenda transforms the power generation industry and changes the mix of consumption of power by the significant industry, which is data center operations for proof of work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A round of applause, please. And okay, now to our last speaker, and you can have all your time you want.
Thank you. So my name is Christian Gliba. I come from Croatia. My background is blockchain development, and in the last few years, I'm advising a lot of projects in a different area of expertise. I'm also involved into setting up the crypto funds and infrastructure around regulation, legal framework. So I will stick to the theme and talk about blockchain as a technology and how we can use it to impact climate change. It's not just talk about mining and what's in or what's not. What's my opinion on mining is that technology itself, it cannot be blamed for something. If we want a better world, we need better power sources. That's normal, you know. If you want to have sustainability in that part, we need to take care to go to the source of the problem, how we developed the energy in the last 20 years. The simplest, let's say the simplest parallel which I can give you is we do like 40% of food which is produced is actually thrown away, which means 40% of water, 40% of land, 40% of energy. Nobody speaks about that. So that are the problems actually where blockchain can have a real impact. Blockchain doesn't understand what is the real and truthful information. Garbage in is garbage out for him. So what I see is we need to create a great ecosystem around it and put the blockchain into the place to have reliable data supply chain. So for example, for the carbon credits, yes, it's a great thing. I work on something similar, but I got a feeling it's just going to be another financial market if we do not strike it like we should. And that is that we need technology as an intermediary. So blockchain in that space can empower IoT implication of calculation of carbon credits and how companies are actually getting their data to the market. Not just, we need another big four companies who will do advice, who will do revision and things like that. Another thing, how we can use a blockchain and have the impact is to bring more people like from the centralized community. There is a great project done by IBM called Plastic Bank, where they actually collect a donation by outsiders, by private investors, and then they put a vending machine where you put a bottle inside, a plastic bottle, and then you get the money for it. Things like that can be operated in easy way in different segments, because you can use, we can have a syndicate crops where we can remove taxation based on by exposing the whole industry to the crypto market and earning value on it through the staking and making the interest. So blockchain itself does not need to be connected to the crypto. You have private permission consortiums. So governments all around the world can set up some self-regulated smart contract where the companies can apply to it and get the scoring about how procedures are being done in the company itself. What's the system which they develop? What is the methodology? It's not just about, let's put the money inside, let's see how we will empower the investment. No, we need to have better systematization of the blockchain itself. That's where currently we are failing. Let's say we are failing. We are going to get there. But we speak a lot about green energy and mining. Minings are, they're powerful because they solve the biggest problem we had until we have a blockchain in our life. That's the truth of information, the immutability of it. So we need to stop talking if the mining and proof of work is too expensive or not. It needs to be there, because that's the first time ever you can literally use the energy and lock it in some digital source of information. You need to pay that, because on the other side you have the companies who already have data centers all around the world and who consume a lot of power also. And what's the impact on the society? Completely nothing. Some of those are social media companies who are harvesting the attention of the people. So people as an individual need to understand the implication and the usage of the blockchain, join the communities and start revamping the business models, not just companies, because companies are there for play, for money, for the market. And that's fine. But the products and tools around the market and the companies must be for the people. Then I think if we have the centralized source of information coming from everyday individual who can be a part and get let's have play to earn model for them in climate change industry. I think that could maybe be that's actually for me a great deal, because all we want is to have a place to live. If we continue this way, who knows what will happen? So I think it's a common interest. Why not create a common solution? That's it for me.
Okay, Christian, thank you so much. So, dear colleagues, thanks for the insight into the topic. Thanks for sharing your opinion openly. Thanks for being disciplined, because we're right on time. And thanks for participating. See you next time at the next panel discussion.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.